The Torah portion this week is the story of the flood. The story of the flood and Noah and the ark is one of the most famous of all biblical literature stories, of all stories since the dawn of creation. We all know the story. The question is, what's the story on the story? Because if you think about it, doesn't seem possible. Like, here are some of the questions that have been raised. How could an ark of its size contain even 2 samples of all the infinite varieties of animal existence? How did Noah get polar bears from the frozen north and kangaroos from Australia into his ark? Where did Noah get enough food to feed all the animals? What about the species that multiply very rapidly? And the fish, some are saltwater fish, some are sweetwater fish. And to top it all off, geologists have not been able to find any evidence of a flood extending over the entire surface of the earth. I'm not the only one who's asking those questions. Lots of others are, especially doctors and scientists. Listen to this statement made by a very prominent Jewish scholar, Professor Mark Shapiro. The entire received body of knowledge in just about every field of human study is dependent on the fact that the world is not 5,000 years old and there was not a flood. These facts are the fundamentals of biology, physics, astronomy, history, anthropology, geology, paleontology, linguistics, etc., etc. Belief in a 5,000-year-old world and a flood which destroyed the world 4,000 years ago is a denial of all human knowledge as we know it. It is a retreat into a world of belief rather than one based on any sort of fact. And one who believes can believe anything he wants to. What Mark Shapiro is telling us, and what Maimonides told us, and lots of others, is that the story of creation in the Torah and the story of Noah and the ark in the Torah are not to be taken literally. There was a flood, but not the size of what's described in the Torah. The world was created in 6 days, but those 6 days could have represented millions of years each. There need not be a conflict between science and religion. We have to interpret. And what do we interpret? We interpret the religion to fit into the science. Maimonides was a great student of Aristotle. Aristotle believed that the world was eternal. Maimonides, based on his understanding of the Torah, was no, God created the world. And you know what Maimonides says? If Aristotle could prove to me that the world is eternal, I would have to reinterpret the Torah to make sure that it fits into the science. There are lots of Orthodox rabbis, past and present, who agree with this understanding. And there are lots who to this day still don't. Jews, rabbis who believe the world was created in 6 days. The world is 5,721 years old. There was the flood as described in the Torah. And if science says different, then science is wrong. Some of those very believers are the ones who, despite the fact that the government in New York and the government in Israel has called for the closing of schools and limiting attendance at synagogues because of the coronavirus, these are the rabbis who say, what do they know? They don't know what the Torah says. And the Torah is more important. But the Torah tells us, "Uvacharta b'chaim," you should choose life. And we have to take that very seriously, to the point that the Gemara in Talmud Yuma says, if a person is sick on Yom Kippur and doesn't know whether he should be eating because it could be a threat to his life, he asks the doctor. And if the doctor says he should eat, he eats. It doesn't say he asks the rabbi. And it doesn't say, when it comes to whether there is climate change or not, that you ask the politicians. No, when you read that the American Association for the Advancement of Science and the American Chemical Society and the American Geophysical Union, the American Medical Association and the American Meteorological Society and the American Physical Society and the Geological Society of America, and 97% of known scientists believe that climate change is coming, you believe the scientists and you believe the doctors. Don't ask your rabbi what to do if you have an infection. Ask the doctor. And don't ask a politician, should you be wearing a mask? Ask the scientist. Get it? We're living in a real, rational world, a world of miracles from God through science and medicine, gifts from God for us to take seriously. So, start recycling, remain socially distant, wear a mask, and stay well. Shabbat Shalom.